Essentially, yeah. There's some pretty late game hard carries for both sides, but like Brian pointed out, both carries are feeling good about the enemy lineups that they're playing against. And Spectre AM was kind of a classical matchup in the past, where Spectre was better, arguably, because he did pure damage, and that cut right through Anti-Mage's magic resistance. But the real story right now, at least in the current meta, is that these carries are going to want to kill the enemy supports very effectively. And one thing that I really like about the AM pick this game is we saw the terror that was Beastmaster Ags yesterday on Dream League with Ags. It's a ton of magic damage. Well, AM has built in massive amounts of magic resistance, and the Beastmaster, if he plays normal, is going to buy Ags, maybe an Aether Lens. He's going to have a really fat and juicy mana pool that AM is going to love to jump on him and blow him up, and he can protect himself with a counter spell if there's a potential counter roar. So I think AM is a really cool pick here, not just for the matchups, but also as a potential solution against that Beastmaster core that seems to be such a problem.
So it is going to take some time, though, obviously, for this anti-mage to come online. What does PuckChamp need to really do with these lanes to make sure that they're getting that momentum going and that this anti-mage doesn't just start balling out of control?
Well, like they pointed out, there are some greedy cores on Unique side. The AM and the Storm usually farm a lot. Centaur kind of sits in his lane and pressures a lot. It's not necessarily the same type of greedy because he is on the map, but he can't rotate very easily early, at least until he gets his Blink Dagger, which usually comes after 1.5 defensive items. So if their opponents on PuckChamp can pressure well and take towers and do objectives, then it could look pretty good for them. But the downside is that their supports are only okay at that. Death Prophet's going to need 6 before she feels really effective, and then Earth Spirit can roam and go for kill type stuff, but Beastmaster also might spend a lot of time jungling too, so it could be that both lineups end up being a little slow.
So funny to think about, considering that the CIS region typically, back in the day, oh no, they're just offering the courier to Astral. That's Slayer's courier killed in a salve that he's not going to have for quite a while.
I mean, he's already got a built-in salve anyways, a Shadow Word, right? So it's not the worst thing. Pairing Warlock with a hard carry that gets pressured in lane a little bit is the classic pairing that just makes the hero feel so valuable. Just because, once you get level 2 Shadow Word, it is 300 HP every 14 seconds. The amount of survivability it gives you is insane. 3/4 of a salve is massive, and that's why you rush Basie on this hero, because it just guarantees your laning stage goes well for that carry. So if Anti-Mage gets a reasonably timed Battle Fury, he doesn't have to worry too much against Spectre. The enemy disables are pretty strong between like Sand King and Earth Spirit, but as long as he's a little bit careful in the team fight, then he's going to have no trouble at all staying alive. So I think the game looks pretty darn good for Anti-Mage. Definitely agree with what Brian said about that.
It's definitely going to be a fun one, being able to watch both of these guys go head to head. And seems like you're thinking that the Anti-Mage is going to have an edge over the Spectre here.
It kind of feels like that to me. Spectre can't quite do as much offensively, he's slightly more limited. Also, he's laning against the Centaur here, as we just saw. Centaur has 70 base damage right now. Spectre only at 52. He tries to throw out the dagger to get the last hit, and Ghost Stick still denies it. So AM should be a little bit safer farming against Sand King. Spectre should get a little bit slower to ramp up, but it's still a great Spectre game. He's very effective against Warlock and Lina, and both those heroes have to be careful.
Already you can see that Dekalis is just moving back here, having gotten very harassed. But middle lane currently looks like 12-5 over on the Beastmaster's, doing a tiny bit better than the Storm, but pretty neck and neck.
Yeah, I don't expect to see any huge differences in the mid lane. FN's an excellent mid player. Obviously just recently switched teams, but he's one of the best in the region for sure, so he'll be fine.
Bottom lane, though, did try to make some plays here. And Bignum, he's chunked down quite a bit. But looks like he's going to be able to walk away from this engagement. And Ghostic is perfectly fine, just being very upfront here and continuing to hit the creeps.
Yeah, this Spectre Death Prophet dual lane isn't as strong as the AM Warlock one. Spectre is a little contested. Yes, they can slow Lina a little bit with Spectral Dagger, but her dying here is pretty unlikely unless she makes a big mistake. So. And she should match up just well against Death Prophet. They basically have the same damage. Death Prophet's a little bit faster, but Lina's got stronger skills at the early stage of the game right now, so it should be fine.
Looks like Astral might be able to get himself another courier snipe here, as it just happens to walk right in his path. But Slayer is going to try to protect it this time.
Courier's got 4 legs. This can be just fine. Slightly faster than Earth Spirit. Centaur is just completely bullying this lane. He's already got Ring of Health picked up, 2 points in Retaliate. He knows how he wants to play this. He is just going to plant his butt in this lane and not go anywhere. Because like Spectre just can't fight him really. Spectre's gotten a lot of nerfs to make the hero even weaker in the laning stage. So the only real vulnerability is that, you know, Spirit Siphon is really effective against high HP Centaur, but Ghost X can have a great lane. And I generally find that he as a player really succeeds well when he plays these initiator type heroes. So I expect him to do really good this game with Centaur.
Definitely be watching Centaur for sure here as Desperate picks himself up one of those new runes. The water rune, of course, fills up that bottle for 2 charges here and make his way back over to that lane. But it's been pretty quiet, you know, we talked about CIS used to be known as like the very skirmishy region, and we still, you know, we're almost 5 minutes in and there has not been a first blood. You see, Bignum was considering pulling up with the LSA, but just back off and
Just the nature of the lanes. That's all it is. It's just because of the heroes that they picked. Sand King and Earth Spirit have the best kill potential against Warlock, but as long as Slayer doesn't make any major mistakes, he's going to be completely fine here. And maybe there could have been a kill in the mid lane potentially, but not until they hit 6. Beastmaster's got 6 now, so there's a small chance that FN messes up really badly there and dies, but I'm not surprised we haven't seen a kill just yet.
Again, everybody just hard at work at hitting creeps and farming up for the time being.
Mm-hmm. Once again, Centaur getting another range creep tonight. He's doing a great job. 30-7 on the Centaur right now. Compare that to the 20-4 of Sand King on the opposite side. And this is, for a long time, this is one of the real big values of picking Centaur. His base damage was insane. So against any carries that have low base damage, you can get a bunch of denies against them. And it gives you a really nice early laning advantage. It doesn't necessarily come from kills, but puts you in a great spot. And then you're just also hard to kill, so everything just looks solid for him. His Vanguard's finished. He's got tons of HP and regen. Vanguard's a little cheaper than it was the last patch. Part of the reason it's popular here. And he's going to be really happy with how much pressure he gets to put on this lane.
It's all about slowing down that Spectre and making sure that you've got the space, of course, for your anti-mage. But Bignum trying to secure the rune if it shows up bottom. It does not. It's actually top. So Astral picks himself up a double damage rune, denying it from Slayer. And just back to hitting those creeps and pressuring towers.
Yeah, I'm going to take a look around the map, see if I can find any stacks. So far,
Ooh,
Roar
the
comes.
Roar over in the middle lane, the roll forward coming out from Astral, and that's a quick pick-off coming out from the side of PuckChamp.
Great kill. Yeah, Earth Spirit's still in the area, gets the rolling boulder. I don't even think he utilized the DD, but that was a little bit too much damage there to pick up for Storm Survive. And I think he got his wand off there, but he also had a Fairy Fire, but still just a little bit too much damage.
This does not look good for Melis, though, here in the top lane. They're going to try to roll back on in. Astral going a little far. Doesn't quite manage to land the roll. Does have the double damage, though, so he'll take a good chunk of Palantimos' health.
Mm-hmm. God, if only he had a way to heal back up almost instantly from his support.
If only.
This would have been effective otherwise to take away 200 of HP, but yeah, this is the downside of playing a lot of offlane heroes against anti-mages, that if they are melee especially, and they rely on mana to be useful, Aim's such a good pick. Because every time that he gets a chance to slap Sand King like 4 or 5 times, boom, he's out of mana, then he's limited on Sandstorm, he can't Burrow Strike defensively. He has picked up a really fast Arcane Boots at least. Ooh, some damage on Death Prov here bottom. She's healing great though.
Yeah, she's
with
gonna
that
be just
Spirit
fine.
Siphon. Yeah, she will be okay, but little damage dealt, not terrible.
I'm sure it was calculated because FN is also making rotation down to this bottom area.
It was a good attempt to rotate. Basically, they had a catapult wave, but unfortunately, that's why they got a little aggressive there. Creep wave got cleared, Ghost Stick tanked it a little bit, but their catapult ended up dying, so they'll have to wait till the next one to take the tower for free.
Ooh, but a nice stack along the way here. FN's going to be very happy about that. And gets himself a broom handle while the Sand King's found a couple neutral items himself.
And an Ocean Heart, really good item for the mid hero, because it's a lot more common that you're standing in the mid wave here with this neutral item. Bignum was praying, he's like, please, 1 bottle sip, sir. And Storm was like, nope, need this, sorry. Too bad for you.
Should have bought your own bottle, bootstraps.
Exactly.
You know, what are you going to do?
Storm's going to spend a decent amount of time jungling. He is probably the most vulnerable core on the map for sure, especially with Beastmaster spending so much time in the mid lane. He's got to be a little bit worried about getting roared into those follow-ups, just like we saw before. Faded Brooch, another great neutral item. We'll see which one ends up using. Passes it over to back to the base. Probably end up on Centaur or somebody like that.
Plus the Keen Optic also getting found. This is just nice stacks here for FN. He is going to be very, very happy about this. Make it a lot easier for picking up the Orchid.
It's not massively common for mid players to get stacks. Usually it's always like carries, right? But this is going to make a huge difference in accelerating him, because Orchid is not that expensive as an item these days. And if he gets it really fast, it's going to completely change Storm's playstyle. He can become a spirit-like hero where he moves around the map getting kills and setting tempo. And you normally don't get this, but man, that was a lot of increased farm here for the Storm. And it also gave a bunch of levels to Warlock. He sat around to get those some of those levels, and that's going to mean his 6 comes faster. He just had 5 at 9 minutes as a 5 position. That's pretty rare, actually. So this is like a tactical choice by these guys to not only stack a lot for Storm, but catch up Warlock a bit faster so those early skirmishes go better for him.
Well, I think it makes sense, right? Because you need to be just allowing Anti-Mage to have enough time to really come online. And his lane's going fairly well, considering, so you want to be at the same tempo as this Beastmaster, and you want to be able to make the space for Palantimo. So Storm is definitely the hero that is going to be able to secure that. Melis, the roll forward, though. Epicenter's already gotten used. Slayer is going to fall. But in comes the Storm Spirit. Does get slashed up for a minute. They'll use the Mana Boil. The follow-up roar, though, coming out now from Desperate as they'll clean up and take down FN. And Palantimos is all by his lonesome now in this top lane, thanks to a good rotation coming out from Desperate.
Yeah, I have to assume that they were ready for that because of the fact that they had this ward on the cliff. They knew that Storm was in the area, so they ended up rotating for it as they went on Warlock. Stampede did not save Warlock, unfortunately. Just a little bit too much burst damage and a huge rotation because that was Spectre getting in on the fight, and now they are pressuring the safe lane tower, which is certainly going to restrict some of the farm potential for heroes like Anti-Mage. So great rotations and good kills so far coming out of Beastmaster. That's 2 Storm deaths now.
And that's definitely not what you want to see happen. That is one of those heroes that needs to be accelerating, and if he dies too many times, he just sort of becomes a liability.
And for sure. Yeah, here's a smoke now for Slayer. They get the Tome. They've got 6 on Chaotic Offer, and they do not have Stampede for 30 seconds, so it's going to be a little harder. But never mind, they're going in.
Yep, they've got that pull right back in. Silence coming out, though, buys her a little bit more time, but she still will fall. And now the pressure is on here in the middle lane. Ghostix just going to tank it up. Bignum and
in some ways better. Very good that they did that, because they didn't even have to use Golem or anything, so not too much resource. Now they should be able to take this tower, or at least get it really low.
I mean, the nice thing about it, right, is that when you can initiate with someone like Storm and you have follow-up stuns, it just makes it so easy. You don't have to go and use any of these larger ultimates.
Huge that they got the tower. And here's a big buff to Lina, actually. She is still amazing at killing trees. It is not easy to clear trees now with things like wild axes, but Lina, I mean, with Light Strike Array cooldown being so low, she can actually clear a lot of these really relevant trees near the towers that are very difficult to spot when your opponents are TPing in now. So kind of a cool little advantage there as well that makes her a little stronger. Orchid's almost up about 150 gold to go, and FN is going to have it. So next neutral camp, Orchid online, and the ganks will come.
That is so scary for a lot of these heroes here. They cannot afford to get caught out here by Storm. And I love the way that they're playing over on the side of Unique, the way that they're rotating together. You do have, you know, follow-up stuns. It really shows that they're making that concerted effort to really try to put pressure on the map and allow AM to just continue to farm.
Yeah, and the net worths are looking pretty good for them. Beastmaster obviously in a great position from his early kills and farm speed, but the other 2 cores on the PuckChamp side are not sitting very high. Blade Mail will accelerate Spectre a little bit, but it is not the same speed as something like a Battle Fairy Anti-Mage unless he ends up getting killed a couple times. And now that Orchid's up on Storm, there's going to be a lot more gank potential. So with that said, though, they are still pretty teamfight focused on Team Unique. There's still Warlock Golem. Center doesn't quite have his Blink Dagger yet, but once that Blink Dagger comes online, the pressure is going to be pretty dangerous for them to worry about.
I mean, on the flip side of this, though, too, right? The Agnum Scepter has been completed for Beastmaster. They are making a rotation now that they have this item, although it's not looking super great here in the top lane because they do pick off Tukalis fairly easily, although they're still making their way top. Not sure if they're still going to jump in. I don't think Ghostix is necessarily the person they want to find.
That's why he's hitting creeps right here, just in case there is a rotation. He's got a hood and a Vanguard. We'll see if he can take it.
I mean, they used the Haunt for it too, so he's very, very tanky, but they should be able to get the kill. It's definitely, you know...
It didn't look that close.
No, it didn't. But the fact that, you know, it took that much to take down the Centaur, and you managed to keep your Storm alive, I don't know. Do you think that's worth it? Oh, never mind. I say that. And the Melee jumps right in. They follow up, though. They drop the rock down. Still will end up losing FN. Laguna Blade comes out, but they just don't have enough distance here. Slayer next to fall. Palantimos, he doesn't want to fight this, not yet. So the aggression coming out from PuckChamp will, look at all the sentries they dropped over on the side too.
The couple, they really wanted to get that Sankin kill.
They're
Great
mad.
initiation though. Little too much damage for AM or for Storm to tank through there. Now they get to use Exorcism on this tower. Very likely this tower's gonna fall.
I don't see it standing for much longer. For sure. So
Yep.
down goes the mid tower, and Unique's just going to continue to try to protect this anti-mage and make the space.
Yep, and this is the downside right now, and the thing that scares me about Unique's lineup is that, like, while they are getting kills, and that's great, they are still too vulnerable to this initiation into 2 to 3 stuns. Storm is absolutely the weak point in their lineup in that sense. Obviously, the supports could die easily too, but Storm has to hit creep, so he's always going to be in a slightly more dangerous position. So if their opponents initiate on him properly, which they should be able to do consistently, he is absolutely going to get blown up. And even things like Shadow Ward on Warlock, it's just not going to be enough to keep Storm alive in those burst moments, because Sanking brings the burst damage that they were missing a little bit, and that buys them setup time for Roar and like 2 to 3 axes, which is almost always going to clear him up, make him die easy. So game's looking a little bit difficult for them, but they still have better gank potential.
I think one of the situations too is just the fact that this anti-mage has gotten exactly what he needed, right? He got the space, he's got the Battle Fury online. And now you've got a Blink Dagger picked up for Centaur, so I have a feeling we'll be seeing more initiations, and whenever Haunt's off cooldown, they'll be hunting. But as I say this, PuckChamp doing their own hunting. They're putting melees up front and center here. LSA comes through from the Lina. No, you don't.
She's got to be careful. There's a lot of heroes here. But I don't think she knows necessarily. Up the
She's
side of the
hanging
map,
back, though.
yeah,
Vision on
she's
the
got to be
side.
really worried. Those Hawks especially, spotting everybody here. But I think they just don't want to put the pressure into a Lina under a tower. They'd much rather grab a different kill instead. This tower is kind of hard to take anyway, so.
Zip in, though. They found themselves a Death Prophet, and FN will collect himself another kill.
Yeah, we'll see if they keep that Observer Ward alive. It'll probably die later on, but a lot of mana spent on Storm Spirit, but once again, that's the hero they get. It's a 5. I like his itemization. He went for no boots, mech with wand, and the whole purpose is that mech is a lot cheaper mana cost. You can buy it by itself, it doesn't hurt that much, and if he just plays near his Spectre, that's a huge amount of survivability added on top of it. So he's just trying to make sure Spectre doesn't die, Spectre can continue accelerating.
And that's a dead Lina.
That didn't look hard at all.
No, it definitely didn't. These axes are so nice, and then if you've got a little roll to slow her down, easy cleanup.
Yep, it really is. 1 axis and you clear a whole small camp, and yeah, maybe this needs to change. I don't know. The mana cost got reduced from 80 to 65, and you got the added damage. Some of that damage has been reduced now, but Wild Axes with Ags has probably been good for a while, to be honest. But looking good right now.
I mean, the game that we cast the other day with the just axes flying everywhere because the Rubik was stealing them as well, that was just absolutely ridiculous.
It was, yeah. And he's doing great. He's on the map, aiming for a BKB next on Beastmaster. That'll make him very survivable if he gets dived by Anti-Mage or Storm Spirit. Doesn't have to worry about mana drain or disables as much. But Unique's still playing around each other. They've got Golem ready, they got Stampede, and here's the smoke. They're going to try to get a grab on somebody important.
I mean, they've killed Dakalis a couple times now, I'm not sure. Melis, though. Smoke does pop.
Broke smoke on that. I think they know where they are, that they were in the tri-camp, and they knew that they wouldn't be able to smoke into it, so he just decided to break his smoke on the creep wave, hoping that they would go on him, but then they got cold feet about it seems like.
That hero's not in the game. They didn't get cold feet purged. Come on now.
True. Oh, my bad, guys. Big mistake.
It's all right. We'll let you have one.
A fast Solar Crest on Warlock as well, also no boots. Very similar strategies for both 5s. Don't need boots, we just need to buy these items that are very cheap that make our allies so much stronger. And Solar Crest is huge here.
Yeah, I think everyone should be picking that. Ooh, immediately.
Why is he here?
Trying to get a D-ward, I guess.
Or break a smoke. I think he's trying to break a smoke there or something.
It's possible.
That was kind of weird.
Yeah, I think every single team should be picking up a Solar Crest now. It's just so good. Just so cheap.
It is so good.
It does so much.
This sentry that they placed is actually not going to spot the ward on the cliff. Oh, here's the go.
From FN. The follow-up initiation, though, as they go, they drop the rock, and that's a really nice LSA as they're trying to run them out. Laguna Blade's going to get thrown out, but FN, he still falls.
Alive.
And now Slayer will fall, Ghost Stick as well. Roll forward, chasing after Bignum. Not going to be able to quite close that gap, but they just run right into that Roche pit. I can't believe Melee's got that stun off and survived.
He ends up staying alive. He's got a lot of HP as a strength here, 2,000, and all he's built is Aghanim Scepter, Ogre Axe, and a Soul Ring. So, you know, with these extra levels, they just ended up being a little too much. Their single target damage does suffer a little bit. Like, Storm can do his combos or whatever, but there was going to be counter initiation, and you can't get like 3 or 4 ball attacks off. AM was obviously going to be somewhere else hitting creeps, and from there it's a support Lina, which does damage, but not like an insane amount. And Centaur does some single target, but not insane. It just wasn't quite enough.
I mean, he's had some really fantastic stomps throughout this game, but again, like you said, it's just not quite enough when you see what they're bringing over on the side of PuckChamp.
It might have been Lotus Orb as well. I did see the Lotus Orb reflect Fatal Bonds. The Fatal Bonds didn't latch very well on other people, but it very possibly removed the Orchid almost instantly and maybe stunned Storm on himself. I didn't catch that. We'd have to see it in a replay, I think. But either way, the Lotus Orb was insanely fast, and that's Sand King picking up so quickly. I wouldn't be surprised at all if that was one of the major reasons he ended up staying alive in that fight.
Well, Mount is completed now for the anti-mage, and this time FN's feeling a little bit more confident. He knows that he can probably get a zip over on this Earth Spirit, but immediately backs again. Not able to burst him down the way he was hoping.
Yeah, this is one of the downsides to playing Storm this game, is that the heroes that you're playing against are not vulnerable. Who's going to be the replay here?
Yeah, Lotus
Orchid gets removed. He does pull himself, I believe, and then he gets silenced afterwards from the Earth Spirits. So yeah, he didn't really get to do that much Storm stuff here.
Oh, the
Lotus was
back.
massive. Yeah, a lot of things got reflected. That Lotus was actually insane how much it accomplished. Saves, like, if that Orchid damage gets all the way through on Beastmaster, completely different team fight. Beastmaster dies. He doesn't get Roar off. He doesn't throw Wild Axes. There's no Laguna Blade Reflection, just completely different team fight. And that is going to hurt so much momentum for Unique. Now they're kind of on the back of Anti-Mage as the game continues. And he's got to play against 2 carries. He's got to play against Spectre, and he's got to play against Beastmaster.
That is a scary thought here as Astral keeps running on. And oh, just a little bit short here as they try to get the jump off the Palantino. They'll find the Palace though over here. Lotus Orb though, and that Reeves keeping her alive as they'll jump back in. Palantino, he's looking. The roar's going to come out, but does actually get bounced back. They're still going. They're chasing after FN. He doesn't have any mana left. He's ticking down to this vessel. Oh, the blade mill. FN, he's trying to bottle through. The dagger comes out. He's not successful as they try to just get this final hit off over onto crit. They don't have enough damage. 70-something hit points. He's going to survive, Purge.
Rough one. Next try by the Warlock. He was pretty out of position at that point in the fight. He tries to do an upheaval to buy enough time to save his allies, but it wasn't quite enough. An okay fight for them, killing Death Prophet again, but losing Storm made it a little bit costly there. But hey, at least AM got the first kill on that guy. Seems like that's the only hero they can kill is Death Prophet so far.
That's definitely not good enough for the side of Unique. But again, a lot of pressure being placed on this anti-mage. Do have a little bit of a lag here, but yeah, the mechanism coming out here on Ducalis, just enough to keep him alive. And the bounce back, yeah, that's Spell Shield.
And it was the Lotus Sword as well. They removed the Orchid damage again, which meant that AM has to use his ulti just to kill that support. He could have instead used that to pressure Spectre in this moment, for example, or maybe to secure a kill on the Earth Spirit, but wasn't able to. Maybe you can, I don't know if AM would have been able to do much to stop the Spectre from killing Storm there, but that Lotus is literally the item of the game. It is insane how valuable it's been this game.
Yeah,
as like, and I haven't
plays with it.
And it's amazing that he got it at such a good time that it felt like it just shut down the Orchid. And there was like one Orchid gank that was successful without Lotus, and then the next one Lotus is ready to go. And it's just like making Storm feel like a not good hero anymore. Because his whole purpose is like killing that one guy at the start of the fight. Lotus massively limits that by removing the silence and the damage amp.
You know, it feels kind of bad because, you know, FN was looking pretty good. He was getting these stacks. He was, you know, getting the Orchid online. But, you know, I don't even want to say that FN, you know, is doing poorly. It's just that the Sand King almost always seems to be just waiting for that initiation and then jumping in. And he's really made FN's life a living hell.
it makes it really difficult, and that takes a massive makes a massive difference. It's kind of funny in chat. They said ESL say to them that we're ready. Maybe we are muted because of voice lines, which is something that some teams do for sure. They just mute the whole enemy team because you don't want to. In a match that has huge stakes like this, you do not want to mess around with getting tilted by your opponents.
No.
A lot of pro players will do it on purpose to try to unsettle your opponents a little bit, and as a result, nothing has happened yet. I don't know. They've spammed a lot of voice lines. We haven't heard anything yet.
I'm not sure. Maybe they need a couple more seconds. Maybe production needs a couple more seconds. We never know, you know?
Okay, all right, Dire Team now said go. All right, we're good to go.
All right.
Hard to know.
Hard to know indeed. But, you know, what's important is that the Dota's back on, and the action is going to get ramped up again. So, Blink Dagger now picked up on the Beastmaster. He's already having a very nice game. It's about to get even nicer as Palantimos continues to farm. It's looking towards getting that Scotty next, but I'm starting to get a bit concerned for the side of Unique.
Yeah, me too. It's a little bit worrying. I mean, there's some okay things. Again, Anti-Mage is still very survivable against Beastmaster's Axe's damage, and he's very mobile, so he doesn't really have to worry too much about getting killed. But and once he gets Scotty, he's going to be really good at hitting these backlines. He'll have to basically be the new Storm Spirit. He'll jump in first, ideally, pick off a target. He's also got this new armor talent at 15. Doesn't get his blink talents anymore, so he's going to be really survivable against physical damage as well, which is not too bad against Spectre either. So I think he's in an okay place. I'll let Bignum hit the tower because he doesn't want to get ganked himself. Very chivalrous of him.
Oh, Palantimos, he blinks forward though, takes the tower. Desperate, he wants Bignum though. Immediately finds him over in the tree line. Looks like he should be able to go get the kill on Lina.
Ooh.
They're trying to bring someone else in here, but the BKB comes out from Desperate as he has to run away now.
That doesn't feel too bad to me. I mean, if that stun would have landed, actually Beastmaster would have died because he was about to take like 1,000 damage mana void there, and would have gotten hit by like a Lina ulti as well. So, you know, forcing BKB for just a support kill, not the worst. But it's kind of blowing my mind that every game that I've seen Beastmaster core so far, he matches farm with a guy with a Battle Fury or some other like one position hero from the mid lane. It's kind of insane.
I don't think it's kind of. I think it is insane.
It's insane. It's going to need to get nerfed again pretty soon, I think.
Well,
Give it a week
now,
or two.
Guys. Get that nice, juicy, free MMR. Purge is like, no, please don't bring it to my pubs. I don't want to see it. Just ban it, Purge. Just ban it.
I'll try hard, guys. Yeah, I actually should. That's a really good point. Everybody ban Beastmaster right now.
I know, I am the logical one in this duo.
That's true. Smoke on both sides. They're going to break it partially.
Yeah, the jump forward. Immediate follow-up, though. They go and they drop the rock, and immediately they just blow up Astro. Ducalis is now left in the middle of everyone else's Spectre. Going right onto the back lines, though, Ducalis. Nah, it looks like Slayer goes down. Melee's also falling. Ghostic just going to teleport out now. He's sitting pretty low. He does manage to teleport away. As the rest of the side of Unique. Can they make it out? Bignum, Bignum. He's trying. Throws down the LSA, but Crit, sidestepping off the side, still wants the kill on Lina.
Oh, there's the perfect example of what we expected to happen at the start of the game. They basically jump on each other's backlines, and the Spectre is really effective against that. Warlock's going to die like every time. He hasn't even bought boots yet. He's like, I'm going to buy a Shadow Amulet, and in fights, I will sit still. That way, every time I die, Spectre has to at least spend 80 gold on a dust to kill me, you know? That is one solution. But the initiation was huge. The BKB timing for Storm changed everything here. He jumps in, he silences the Earth Spirit, it gets Lotus off, I believe. Luckily, Ghostic happened to catch the Sand King with his follow-up. Then they did more follow-up, easy burst there. Death Prophet trying to offset this, jumps in as well, but at that point, she's completely by herself, and all they get out of it is 2 support kills with Ghostic's really wise, quick TP here. So really nice fight there for Team Unique. Net worth is still the same, but that was amazing for Team Unique. I'm sure they got a lot of levels out of that fight.
It's actually crazy to look at the fact that it's been less than a 1K lead for quite a while now between the two. At least it feels that way. It's gone back and forth a couple times.
And they've got more kills on the PuckChamp side, so it just means Unique's farming a little bit faster to help offset that team fight disadvantage here. But again, they use another smoke. They're ready to go. Because what are their cooldowns, right? It's Warlock Golem is the biggest one, but Stampede is not that long anymore. It's only 90 seconds, so they're going to go high ground. This doesn't get spotted.
Because, but Desperate is here. Good roar. Will get knocked back, but they still have the Laguna Blade. They've got the silence over onto Death Prophet. They haven't quite managed to take her down completely, but next she will go down. And there's going to be a little bit of that slow from the defusal. The roll forward, they have the spell shield up, followed up with a nice stun. The LSA coming through, though, buys them a little bit more time. And look at these fatal bonds as they go through. They get the kill onto Astral, then take down Crit. And they end up losing Ghost Stick, and they'll end up losing FN as well. But it looked like it was going to be a very fast door to pick off, and they ended up losing some very important heroes over on the side of Team Unique. But with the Spectre down, buys them a bit more time. In fact, Helen Timos might have gotten a little bit too greedy because they have the stuns. They've got enough. Can they kill him? Yes, they'll be able to find the kill. Melees. Kurt's chasing after here. DeCosta desperate, just clicking away, throwing the Axis Slayer. He accepted his fate at that point. He knew he was not surviving that. Too greedy.
It was way too greedy. It looked kind of okay because he had Scotty, so he's thinking, oh, I can just slow this Beastmaster and kill him. But the Boar was there, attacked Anti-Mage, which offset the Scotty slow advantage. And then he's like, uh-oh, he's going to run away from me now. That they counter-initiate. They had a heal on the Anti-Mage as well, and he has Shard as well, so he got bonus movement speed there. But it was not enough to keep the AM alive there. And that was maybe one of the bigger mistakes of the whole match, without a doubt. An unforced error there by the Anti-Mage to die. It looked fine before that, but now Anti-Mage off the map's going to slow down their farm.
Oh, they're still trying to just get these kills over to DeCosta, but it's been very difficult here. Oh boy, yes, it's extremely difficult.
another unforced error there.
They're getting themselves
really
a
second
kill here, Purge. Crit?
That's a big one.
I think Crit just, the roll not quite connecting. Actually, Big Them's going to survive this. Crit really wanted it, but if Astral had landed, I think they would have been able to make it happen.
And with these 2 deaths, it just buys them so much time on PuckChamp to pressure lanes. But on the bright side, they don't have good tower hitters at all. Their best tower hit is Exorcism for sure. But yeah, so it doesn't punish them as much. It's going to start them on Roshan. We will see JK, there's a Beastmaster Ags. This is basically over. And that's going to be a Ag Shard as well. Very curious to see who ends up getting this.
Who would you give it to?
I'm trying to figure that out right now. None of them have like super incredible ones. I haven't tried Spectre's one before, but
Dive Bomb. We got Dive Bomb online.
Okay, yeah, Dive Bomb is pretty good. You get way more Hawks, so there's going to be a lot of map control. And then obviously, in terms of split pushing, it can be great for spotting those people and then landing disables. But just lowering the cooldown by like 15 seconds is already pretty amazing. So you can just blanket the map with vision and make team fights a little easier for you.
I mean, that is one thing they definitely have with an advantage for coming out for the side of PuckChamp is they have a lot of ways to gain vision and to counteract jumps and whatnot. So I have to watch and see, but it feels like there's not much breathing room as Slayer down here. Melee's just clicking them down. Uses the epicenter.
Tried to make it in time. Yep, that's all right. It's a kill. Means that they can't golem, and Fatal Bonds is probably the biggest loss, actually. Ooh. All that amplified damage against the AoE that Unique has is pretty strong.
Yeah, do you see how Desperate just starts running over at the Lena? This tower's just going down from just Crit alone.
Send it for FN?
No. They'll follow up, though, immediately, Desperate. Doesn't matter about that BKB when you have a roar, but Palantimos, he's here to protect. Is he going to be able to help get this kill? Yes, Astral will go down.
Okay, he ends up making it. Huge pickup. Ceremonial Robe is going to be great on Beastmaster, whoever else wants to hold it. To amplify that magic damage by another 10%. But good kill, yeah. Anti-Mage getting that on the map.
We are starting to see a 6K swing, though. There's just very little space on this map. The Anti-Mage, he's doing the best he can. FN, he can't do a whole heck of a lot here. It feels like he can't just pick off anyone by himself anymore. Even trying to take down that Death Prophet is just proving to be too difficult. In fact, Ducalis is now hunting him. Though, it does pick up that Invis rune. The Silence Orchid comes out. The Haunt, though, immediately bash up stuns going through. FN will go down. As Ghost Stick running Crit, though, hunting for his own. Would love to, the bash over here onto Slayer. That is a dead Warlock.
Rough one for him. Can't help but think that boots might be helpful, but I get the game plan. Spectre is going to find you when he haunts, but maybe he could have gotten away in circumstances like that. Regardless,
I don't think he gets away from that purge.
Probably not. Maybe I don't know. Who knows?
Oh, the roll in from Astral. That's a dead Bignum.
Maybe he would have been at like the tier 2 instead of having a TP in the jungle. Is what I mean. Before he got spotted, but good pressure here. And punishing the Storm after he went for the kill, they find him when he doesn't have BKB. They're able to punish him with that great silence and Rax is going down a little
Ghostic
bit
was a
here.
little bit off the mark. The follow-up burrow strike now from Sand King. Melee's looking for this opening. Look at the dagger. LSA, though, will connect over onto 2. And Palantimos, he's doing a lot of damage. He's going to be able to help take down Melee's. Using that Laguna Blade, too. So maybe just a bit too confident of a dive here coming out from the side of PuckChamp. So they take the tower.
Ghostic outplayed him. He blinked in, did a bad hoof stomp, which made it look like a really good go. Then Centaur was gonna die, but Bignum force-staffed him, which basically offset things. And then everything looked okay. So great play by Ghostic to miss that stun. And he's got Ags now. This is a huge grab because it's going to reduce damage by 40%. And this is one solution to what we pointed out in the laning stage. That Storm is the vulnerability. He gets bursted down. Now they can just stampede and reduce damage by 40%. That's going to be huge to offset things like Epicenter, which is this small window of tons of damage. Reducing that for everybody on top of the pipe could do a lot here. There's that crappy stuff, terrible, but great bait by Ghostic, looking like he's dead. Force Staff is going to mean that he doesn't get damaged anymore by Spectre. Then Lina gets the damage fall, pops the dust, everything goes well, and they get another kill. And Anti-Mage is just that much closer now to level 25, where he gets some value talents. Was that somebody pumping his fists in the back?
He looked very upset. Did not look happy, that's for sure. My goodness.
You see the cool item that Anti-Mage bought? I don't think I've ever seen this in my whole life. A Satanic on an Anti-Mage. Now, he does need some lifesteal. It's helpful against heroes like Spectre, but interestingly, Satanic just got buffed to have a Dispel, which is actually amazing on Anti-Mage this game because he's got Manta to remove silences, but there's multiple silences. Now he's got 2 ways.
I heard a roar and I'm seeing an epicenter. We've got 2 fights going on. FN.
Well, it worked this time. He gets out. Storm was the one that got roared. So they are going to all group in the base here, and we'll see if they can get something done. Aim's got great items at this point, but without Storm, they need to get their opponents to overextend or something.
They need a good initiation. I mean, that's a pretty decent initiation, but they follow up with a burrow strike. They'll go, they drop the rock, and the silence comes out. They've got those BKBs, and they're just ticking down over here on the side. The roar comes out, though, buys them a little bit more time. Astral not going to be able to walk away from this. They'll follow up with another stun. This is not looking good for Palantimos. He's got to blink away, and he does manage at the very last second. Oh, those axes, they go so far, and they just barely almost tap his booty as he runs back into the fountain.
I can't believe he survived. I really thought he was going to die there, but that magic resistance with the Titan Sliver as well that he's picked up was a lot. Satanic definitely helped to remove the silence, got some big lifesteal hits in with the Fatal Bonds. Not a bad fight for Unique considering that was 4v5, and that was without Stampede, by the way. So a good sign for them as this game continues.
We're starting to hit the point where Palantimos is starting to look very ferocious. But of course, it's a lot of help coming out from the supporting cast of Team Unique. Melee's his burrow strikes have been so good, but now they have this opportunity with their positioning because you do have the Centaur initiating. You get the counter initiation coming out with the burrow strike, but then all of a sudden, as long as they have that rock to drop,
yeah,
the
and
chaotic
he also
offering
reflected
just immediately. It makes everything so much harder.
It does. And he also reflected the first burrow strike with counterspell as well. It was very effective in this circumstance to make Sand King's initiation a little bit worse. I don't think either of them, I couldn't remember exactly how the interaction works, but it made the burrow strike feel a lot less strong for sure when Anti-Mage was ready for that.
And that was kind of their bread and butter originally. Ghostic, he's gone pretty far here, but he's just going to use the Stampede, run away. Desperate though, it does feel a little desperate to use the roar. Rest of the team still right behind them. Palantimos, you can hear on the back line, so I heard a BKB going off as Astral's gonna get chonked away over on the side. Follow up with a nice burrow strike, so they'll be able to revenge poor Astral, but FN next to fall. As he get the Fatal Bonds down, Slayer's just trying to climb away, but he realizes he's not making it out, tries to teleport. It's a very optimistic TP, because he does indeed fall again.
Yeah, tough fight. Anti-Mage is very, very difficult to kill here, but the problem is that he has a team and they are the vulnerable ones. Got insane magic resistance now. They're going in, maybe gonna get a kill.
It's looking pretty gosh darn good, but they use the haunt. At least he's still alive. The burrow struck going in Pleasant to the roar. This is not looking good for Palantimos as they'll find a kill, and Ghostic will also fall. That is a team wipe. They call GG. They realize that PuckChamp just too far ahead here with what they're bringing to the table.
Beastmaster has not died yet. It's 12-0.